Hi everyone, my name is Matt Short. I'm the Chief of Staff at Simplify Consulting, and I am delighted to be joined by Chloe Stuttard this afternoon. Chloe, would you mind just starting by telling us a bit about your role and remit within LV?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. My name's Chloe. I'm the Director of Customer and Advisor Experience at LV. So I look after our customer strategy and all of the teams that help support our the experience that we give to our customers and advisors.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks for joining us again. What we wanted to do, we thought, as it's the start of the new year, it would be a good opportunity to speak to some of the kind of executives that we know, and get a bit of a view that we could share with anyone that's interested of what you see coming down the track in 2025. And I guess looking at it from two different lenses. One is, what do you think of the opportunities that I guess excite you about 2025? And let's talk a bit about those. And then conversely, I guess, what do you think some of the challenges might be, and some of the concerns that may be keeping you awake at night, and what does that look like? If that's okay with you.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So should we start? Should we start with the opportunities? Let's start on the positive
Let's
stuff.
start with the good stuff, shall we?
So yeah, what are you seeing, and what are you hoping for in 2025, and how do you think you might be able to kind of take advantage of those opportunities?
I think the first one is probably quite an obvious one to talk about, which is AI. Now, this is something that has been spoken about in the industry for several years, has been probably the hot topic of every conference. I think now really is prime opportunity time for using AI. We've seen a lot of big and small companies developing great things in the AI space that can help with customer experience. But we're now also seeing great use cases that are coming out, great governance, good testing. So it makes it much more accessible and safe to use. I think the opportunities are really varied. I think focusing on it as a cost saving tool is not the right angle. For me, what really excites me is the opportunities it opens up to free up our people to do more valuable work, help our customers more, and take away some of the more administrative things that AI can be a supporting tool for, not replacing humans, but helping make sure we've got the value in absolutely the right places. It can absolutely align to consumer duty. I think it can help you in data consumption, data analysis. For me, one of the things it really excites me about is data and insight analysis. Trying to understand things more, to be more insight led. AI can be a great support for that. And ultimately, if we can build it in the right areas, in the right ways, it can free up our best people to be supporting customers even more than ever before.
Okay, and I went to a conference yesterday actually, and that aligns actually to what I was hearing. Yes, obviously there's huge benefits in terms of AI being able to do things quicker and cheaper and more accurately, brilliant. But actually, what do you do with that kind of utilization? If that's going to free up some capacity, what do you do with that capacity, and how do you reinvest it, or how do you utilize it to use your people in a way that's more effective, and get the best out of your people, and use AI in the best way that can be used? And I don't know about you, but an example is just now, just when we joined this call, I started seeing AI come up in the right-hand corner. I've not seen that before. Some of the other tools that we use internally, I've started to just see AI crop up, and not being promoted, no one's coming to me and saying this is what we're doing. So it'll be interesting to see how businesses promote or otherwise, or just use it in the background, or whether or not they make it part of their proposition and their USP. And it'll be interesting to see, in what way people kind of talk about the tool as well. I don't know if you've got any kind of experience on
Absolutely.
that.
I think that's an interesting one that people are navigating at the moment, isn't it? Because, everyone wants to be fair and transparent with customer data and data processing and what we use as a business. And absolutely, that's our ethos. But part of this is if it's it doesn't have to be analysing customer data. This isn't a data sensitivity point. Some of it is, as you say, you go onto a screen and there's auto transcribe on things nowadays. You get it on the voicemail on your phone. It it doesn't have to be sensitive areas where it can still add value to a business. But I do still think it's important to obviously make sure the right governance is in place, as you do with any other thing in this industry.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Chloe. And what about the challenges then? What keeps you awake at night? What are you worried about in 2025, and what do you think you're going to be facing into this year? Perhaps that you've not seen so much in the past, or maybe just an elevated version of what you've seen before.
I think one thing that I think is growing, not necessarily a new thing, but I think is growing, is around customer expectations, because there's a lot of research that seems to be showing that customers don't segment sectors when they're thinking about the experience that they expect. So what I mean by that is customers might not come to me and think, right, you're a financial services company and therefore my expectations of financial services is one thing. When I go to retail or when I go to banking, it's something different. The experiences they get as a whole from all of the businesses that they interact with sets their expectations. So we live in a world where things are more instant, more always on than ever. And it seems that consumers are comparing in that way. So, I think that makes financial services, who may not have been as quick as things like retail, we can't be compared to Amazon, we might think, but that is some people's thinking. And we need to be very aware of that mindset when we're looking at particularly digital propositions, availability of services, speed of responses, that kind of thing. And I think that is a bit of a challenge.
Is that something you're actively kind of looking at, and how do you address some of those challenges that you see coming down the line?
Absolutely. So, I mean, key for me is being insight driven. We try and do as much as possible to understand what consumers generally expect, but also what our member community expect in the services that we have, and what would help in that regard, because then we can target the things that help most. So, for example, in digital proposition, launching things like web chats, callback services, those things that we have built in have been because of what customers have told us their expectations are and what they would like to see as a service.
I agree. I think, ultimately within kind of wealth and financial services generally, they're never going to be on the forefront of probably advancement in technology. But I guess the key and the challenge, I guess, is making sure that you're still competitive, up to date, and looking at what your consumers need and what, I guess, tech is available to you, and how do you leverage that and do it in the right way? Because I guess they will still, whilst they might compare you to other industries, I guess you can still influence how good you are against some of your competitors, and kind of gain competitive advantage in that way.
Definitely.
Brilliant. Okay, cool.
Just on that
Sorry, was there
point.
something else you wanted to
Oh,
add? Yeah.
yeah. So it's not just even about the tech as well. I think it then is you might not have to be as good as other sectors as with your technology, but it comes back to that insight and understanding point, is what's the moments that matter most, because actually where we can tend to differentiate is at those real times of need, or key points for customers, and that's where you can actually make a difference that perhaps someone who's 100% tech based won't be able to do in the same way.
Brilliant. Well, Chloe, thank you very much as always. Really appreciate your time and your insights, and best of luck with those opportunities and the challenges that you're facing into this year. I look forward to hearing how they go.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Chloe. Bye.